humanity. It is October 22, 2018, and this is Mondays with Bev and Paul. And I'm floating Paul.
Yes, Saturn just sitting on your head right there.
My name's Paul.
My name is Bev.
And we are spaced out today.
Just today?
Just today. We just love this little green screen thing.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
So we're going to have a good show today. Once we get back to Earth, maybe we should get back to Earth. Let's see, where is Earth here? Back to Earth. Boom! There we are, back to Earth.
There it
Hi,
is.
everybody. Our question for today, this is interesting. How can BioTouch unlock happiness? These shows are designed, we answer a question. We like to have a question for discussion. And we like to go over the manual. We're going to teach you how to do BioTouch. And also usually try to read a part from our manual or our book.
Yes, and always share with you what's going on around the world with our certified practitioners.
Yes, and we have some stuff going on around the world. First one
is
Chetna from India came to visit us last week with her friend Amrita, who's on the left. Chetna is from Mumbai, India.
Yes.
And we're going to share part of her interview. It's also, the full thing is on Facebook. If you're interested in what she's doing in Mumbai or have friends there, Circle of Positivity. And even it's a great website and great Instagram. Very inspirational. Look up Circle of Positivity. It'll take you to her Facebook and her website. And we also wanted to share with you, we were totally blown away by her friend Amrita, who lives in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And she started a company called Neo Coco and wanted to read to you a little about what she does. Every hand embroidered t-shirt is a representation of the women who embroider it, giving her independence and dignity. She actually works with refugee women in Los Angeles, and they make these amazing
they're gorgeous. They really are quite lovely.
So look her up, support her and her work. That was an amazing visit by the two of them.
It was.
And we had another friend of ours who was on there, and I couldn't figure out who it was that was posting. And it was Tiara in Indiana. And she has what's called Pain Relief Depot, LLC. And she just opened, isn't she gorgeous?
Yes.
She is just a gorgeous
She
woman.
is.
And she opened up a studio, her own place now in Gary, Indiana.
So excited
for
her.
And she's doing BioTouch and her pain relief work. And so look her up, Pain Relief Depot. If you're in that area, contact her. She's actually gonna do, I think it's called Paint and Drink or Sip and Paint or something like that. And she shared this picture that you paint these designs. I don't know. It's an amazing little thing that she got all excited because it's about Hawaii and touching and this painting she wants to do.
She's fun though.
She
does
is
a lot
fun.
of cool stuff.
Yes. So hopefully we're going to bring her to Tucson to do her Sip and Paint, I think it's called, or something like that. So.
Okay.
All right. So that's what's happening in our world.
By the way, we did forget one thing. What? Christine Vogt
I
in
didn't get the pictures.
Switzerland.
Yes,
right?
Christine did a class, and she had 3 women.
Yeah.
It's posted on our website.
Was it 3 or 4?
I think there were 4 people, but I think she had 3 people there.
Okay, yeah.
So check that out on our Facebook page. She is there.
She's doing awesome.
Oh, yes, and she's got her own space. So, things are just percolating in this time.
And really being anchored.
Anchored, that's
Things
a good word.
are really being anchored. BioTouch is being anchored around this web that we're building. Web of love.
Web of love.
Yeah.
And it's happening at a time that our question is perfect. The question is somewhere here. How can BioTouch unlock happiness? So it's interesting. I went to a presentation of at a Arizona Wellness Alliance here in Tucson. And the speaker was a professor, a retired professor from the university who teaches a class on happiness. And he actually retired, but his class was so popular, they bring him back to do this. So he gave this amazing discussion, showed all the clinical data about how important happiness is in our life. And so I thought, well, BioTouch unlocks that. What he talked about, he said the UN made pursuit of happiness a right. They called it a right in 2012, and they reverberated that around the world, even though in the Constitution, in our laws here, where we say the pursuit of happiness, the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
And so it's interesting because we say it's our birthright to be happy, healthy, and loved. So we wanted to talk, how does BioTouch unlock that?
Wow.
Unlock that happiness that, as we were discussing, it's not really something you have to pursue because it's already there.
Yeah, if it's our birthright,
right.
We're already born with it, right? We're already born with the potential, the ability to have it, materialize in our life, manifest in our life. Because if it's innate in us to be happy, then what we're not having is something that unlocks that for us. And in the midst of these times, as we know, much of humanity they are not happy at all.
We were watching that YouTube from the Dalai Lama, who talked about what happens is we're told to fear each other. That's the drone that we want to hear, and that creates separation, which makes us isolated, which brings us depression and unhappiness, discontent with our life, fear about every little thing that happens to us. And that is, a huge part of what's reverberating on the planet every time we turn on the TV. And so how can BioTouch help us in the midst of a very unstable thought system?
Yeah, I've been thinking for quite a while, and when I really delve into contemplate all of those amazing aspects of BioTouch, that I clearly see that it is a key. It is a key that is just really needed right now. And as we know, it's categorized as a healing modality. But we've talked about it many times. The one thing where all of it's locked, happiness is locked, memories are locked, trauma is locked in our bodies, in those different parts of ourselves. And so what do we say? That greeting is the key. When we greet another person with those two fingers in that sacred space, we are making a statement. We are not separated. There is no fear. BioTouch is hope. It opens up and unlocks all of the possibilities that we can bring forth our birthright of happiness already. So I think what has to happen is that we change the story of fear. We're the only ones that can do that. BioTouch is so important to changing the story. I always go back to Dr. Bruce Lipton. He says that we can change the story of our DNA, our cellular structure in our bodies, through a story of love. Change the story from fear and separation to love, and start loving ourselves into happiness.
So that, and it's interesting you talk about that greeting, because if that's all we could do with one another, imagine even the different rallies we go. The interesting thing about these rallies, and remember back in the 60s when I was doing protest rallies, and I was in this one huge anti-war rally, and there was thousands upon thousands of us, and we're marching up this hill, and on the other side were the helicopters of the FBI, the CIA, and people with guns and rifles. And I recognized at that moment, was we were both walking towards each other, that we each depended on each other. Mm-hmm. That the only reason those people had a job there was because we were protesting. And the only reason we were protesting was because there was some entity that we felt we needed to make a statement towards. So that was and I always felt what was missing in those movements was love. That deep connection that we're all the same. And BioTouch, when I found BioTouch, it was that way to bring that connection with all human beings without having to talk about it.
Yeah, because
Even though we talk all the time.
we talk all the time. Well, at least you do. But when you were telling that story, I'm thinking, you guys are marching. They're the bad guys, but you're the bad guys to
Right.
them. Nobody wins. This is a war that nobody can win, because if we think of everyone outside of ourselves as separated and we're in fear and they're the bad guy, there is no love.
And BioTouch, for that moment, brings us together. The fear is wiped away. The judgments are wiped away.
The separation
is
from each
wiped
other.
away. It just goes away. We don't
Oh.
have to do anything. Just that greeting. And we come into a presence with another human being. And it really, to me, has always been the ultimate practice of forgiveness, of healing. And then bodies can get better because they're not uptight all the time. They're not afraid of themselves, their own body. They're not afraid of another body. And healing begins to happen spontaneously.
Because BioTouch communicates, like we said, and starts a dialogue of a new story. And this time in love. Changes everything.
So we wanted to share part, when we do BioTouch, it's not just about the recipient who's getting the help. It's about everybody around us, the practitioner, people watching. And Chetna talked about that.
Oh, it was wonderful.
And she talked about how BioTouch, how she got involved with BioTouch, that it was so important for the two major crises in her life. And we wanted to share, we took out that little clip, it's just a few minutes. And so we're just going to share with you the little part of that interview.
Right.
So, yeah. But
So tell us first tell us why you like BioTouch.
Well, it helped me through two of the toughest parts of my life. One was when I first learned it as triome. It was before my dad, who had just been diagnosed with liver cirrhosis. And he used to have severe pain in the leg, because what happens is that the liver sends the toxins down into the bloodstream. And he didn't know where the pain was coming from, because it was moving pain. Because of the condition of his liver, he was not allowed to take any painkillers other than like the lightest amount of paracetamol. So there was no way to get that pain out. And I would see him thrashing his leg in the middle of the night because he didn't know what to do with it, right? So I learned the technique. I did that for him for about 6 weeks, every single day for the first 2 weeks. And then the next remaining 4 weeks, I would do it every alternate day, twice a week, once a week kind of a thing. And the pain disappeared.
Wow.
It went, and it didn't come back for almost 2.5 years. Now the pain that he feels is more because of his diabetes and not because of the liver. But strangely also...
so he lived through... He's still living.
He's fine. I mean, he's got 35% of his liver. He's okay.
Wow.
But here's the strange part. He's an alcoholic who didn't give up alcohol, and yet his liver condition hasn't changed.
Oh my God.
So, and I haven't done BioTouch for him besides those 6 weeks, but his body has pretty much stayed the same.
Do you still work with him?
Not really. He refuses to sit now.
Okay, Papa, this is it. I hope you're watching. Get work done.
Yeah, so he's lazy, but yeah, when it hurts him, he says, "Okay, no, my leg is hurting. Like, do something for me." Right? I was like, okay, it's like people start thinking that it can be immediate relief as well,
Right.
and that's a bit of a dicey space because it sometimes is not immediate relief,
Right.
So yeah, but the other part it helped me through was with my mom, who was diagnosed with stage 4 stomach cancer. And we lost her 2 years ago, but at no point did I feel helpless.
Wow.
There was always something that I could do. There were times, so her first symptom was that she couldn't eat, she couldn't swallow anything. And she would go through terrible discomfort the minute she ate or drank anything. And I would just do BioTouch, as in sweeps down her throat. And in 10 minutes, she would settle down and go to sleep.
Wow.
Even right at the end in the last week when she was delirious, no morphine was helping, no kind of painkiller. She had a whole cocktail of it and none of it was helping. And she couldn't sleep. And all I had to do was touch her back and her spine for 5 minutes. She'd be out for the next 4 hours.
Wow.
She'd sleep peacefully. So I always felt like I could do something. At no point did I feel that I can't do something for my mom, when she was going through that. And I think that's the biggest thing with BioTouch.
Yeah.
That's something that I try and tell people in India. Instead of having, like, what I would really like to do is tap into the caregiver circle, because those who are going through the pain are coming in because they want some kind of miracle and some kind of immediate relief, which may or may not happen. Right? That depends on their body.
Yeah.
But for the caregivers to just be there and be able to do something with it, I think that's like the biggest gift.
Oh.
That was amazing.
It was great. And, after her comments, I thought, wow, she just kind of reiterated for all of us one of the amazing gifts of BioTouch. And that is because one of Chetna's great areas that she's interested in is for caregivers and BioTouch, because and she said it perfectly. The whole time that she was working with her parents, she never felt hopeless. Even in spite of everything, as a caregiver, she could do something. She could not just stand back and be helpless. So, even in that, BioTouch brings us into a situation where not only we can help, but we feel, as you were saying, we get something as that caregiver. We can contribute to this other person's whole journey of healing, or even in the transition of death. There's still this quality of, wait a minute, I'm leaving, but there's something besides all of this about me.
Yes.
It's this quality of life that BioTouch can really bring to us. And I think that one of those qualities is called happiness, contentment.
Help and hope and happiness.
Yes.
The triple H's.
The 3 H's.
Along with health, happiness,
Yes.
and love. BioTouch unlocks that. And it just does it with a simple greeting. And so let's just show you the greeting so you make sure you remember how to do it.
The greeting is always performed at the beginning of each session. It's the only set that uses one hand and the only set that indicates which hand to use. The greeting is performed with the dominant hand. If you are right-handed, use your right hand. If you are left-handed, use your left hand. The greeting is made by touching at point 1, which is in the fleshy area just below the bottom of the breastbone or sternum. Hold this point for 6 to 8 seconds. Then, with the same 2 fingers, touch point 2 on the back. To find point 2, look for the big bone at the base of the neck. From here, move 1 to 1.5 inches to the left. This is point 2. Hold this point for 6 to 8 seconds. More than one associate may work with a recipient.
And then comes the sun.
Oh boy.
So that family touches together and is happy together. And so we want all of you out there just to touch one another. Reach out, take those 2 fingers, do the greeting. It's so simple. And let's see what happens. The revolution of love truly can happen.
Well, let's unlock happiness for each other.
Yes.
By doing BioTouch.
It's simple.
Yeah.
Go to justtouch.com. There's right there up on, right there. I'm holding it.
You are. Holding it up.
And we just love sharing this with you every week. If you have any questions that you'd like us to address, just send us an email, office@justtouch.com. And join us for a workshop this Thursday with Marla from, where's she from?
She's from
Peaceful Spirit Massage and Wellness Center. She's all set to talk about carpal tunnel syndrome and the points that we need, to deal with that. So once again, we do another Monday with Bev and Paul, and I so love working with you and talking with you and talking.
Like in Ghost. Ditto.
Ditto. And we love coming into your home and onto your phone. So thank you very much, and we'll see you all next week.
Yes, we will. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye, all.
Bye.